Have you ever wondered where the ultimate limit of courage lies? Don't let those picture-perfect photos online fool you, because in reality, some roads are not meant for dreamers. These are places where thin steel strips sway in a blizzard, where rocky dirt paths are just wide enough for one vehicle to squeeze past the edge of a bottomless abyss, or even a frozen lake ready to crack open right under a truck weighing tens of tons. So why are we drawn to this extreme danger? Maybe it's because there, the line between life and death is just a breath away, turning every step into a battle of wits against brutal nature. From deep, dark tunnels to cliffs with no guardrails, the 25 deadly locations below are a test of mettle that makes even seasoned travelers shudder. Are you ready to hold your breath and explore these coordinates that are not for the faint of heart? Hussaini Hanging Bridge, Pakistan. The screech of cables in the cold wind and the gaps that are just waiting for a misstep right above the abyss will be the first things to greet you in the Hunza region of northern Pakistan. The Hussaini Hanging Bridge is made of loose iron wires and hundreds of old wooden planks spaced terrifyingly far apart. At over 190 meters long and at a considerable height, this bridge constantly sways violently whenever strong winds blow through the valley. The real danger lies in the fact that the wooden planks are often broken or missing, creating risky gaps where you can fall through. The bridge was originally built by locals to travel between remote villages, but after major flash floods, it has become a true hanging trap. Many tourists have had to give up after just the first few meters because they couldn't handle the intense shaking of the iron cables. You'll need nerves of steel if you want to conquer this bridge, because the line between safety and the abyss here is as thin as those old cables themselves. Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge, China. If you think you're brave enough to walk on air, try standing in the middle of the glass bridge in Zhangjiajie, Hunan Province, China, and looking straight down into a 300-meter deep abyss. Stretching 430 meters between two magnificent peaks, the entire floor of this bridge is made of 99 panels of thick, transparent, tempered glass. The most real feeling here is the sense of instability, as you can see everything under your feet, creating a powerful visual shock to your nervous system. To prove its durability, engineers once smashed the glass surface with sledgehammers in front of thousands of people. But the shaking, when hundreds of tourists walk across at the same time, is still a very real nightmare. Since its opening in 2016, this structure has become a symbol of modern adventure, where even the strongest people have to crawl in fear. You'll never know how much your legs can shake until you're actually standing in the middle of this void and looking all the way down to the bottom of the deep valley below. Mackinac Bridge, United States. Can you believe it? Many drivers have had to abandon their steering wheels midway and ask for rescue personnel to drive for them because they were so terrified of a bridge. Located in Michigan, the Mackinac Bridge is over 8 kilometers long, connecting the state's two peninsulas right over a windy stretch of water. What terrifies drivers the most isn't the structure, but the wind gusts of up to 50 kilometers per hour, strong enough to make even heavy trucks sway as they move. The middle section of the road is designed with an open steel grid to reduce wind pressure, but it creates a deafening screech and reveals the deep lake right under the wheels, causing extreme anxiety. History has recorded incidents of vehicles being blown off the bridge during major storms, turning this journey into a high-risk experience. Today, the management even has to provide a free driver service for those who freeze up in fear midway. This is definitely the biggest mental challenge for any driver who wants to test their composure on these windy strips of steel. Valley Vine Bridges, Japan. Don't let the peaceful beauty of the mountain forests fool you, because the Vine Bridge in the Iya Valley, Tokushima Prefecture, Japan, will make you tremble with every step. Woven from natural climbing vines and large tree roots, this bridge is perched 14 meters above a jagged, rocky river. The biggest challenge here is that the gaps between the floorboards are very wide, enough for you to clearly see the swift current right beneath your feet. Although it's now reinforced with steel cables inside for safety, the feeling of it swaying and the creaking of the vines when someone walks across is still enough to make many people freeze in place. Historically, Heike clan warriors built this type of bridge in the 12th century so they could quickly cut the vines to prevent enemies from chasing them into the deep valley. Are you willing to let go of the handrail and walk on these ancient vine links to discover the secrets of this hidden valley? Angel's Landing, United States. Prepare yourself for a journey where the line between life and death is separated by just a single iron chain bolted along a cliff face. Located in Zion National Park, Utah, the Angel's Landing Trail leads visitors to a summit nearly 450 meters above the valley floor. The most heart-stopping part is the final 800-meter stretch, where you have to walk on a narrow mountain spine less than a meter wide. On both sides are bottomless abysses with no guardrails for protection. The trail's poetic name actually comes from a statement made in 1916 that the peak was so treacherous that only an angel could land on it. Tragic accidents in the past are a stark reminder of how unforgiving this terrain is for overconfident hikers. Equipping yourself with a pair of shoes with excellent grip and focusing intensely on every single step will help you overcome the fear to take in the majestic beauty of Zion Canyon after completing this breathtaking journey. Cliffhanger Road, India. Forget about flat highways because the Cliffhanger Road in Pangi Valley, India, is a vertical cliff where you can only travel on a narrow, rocky dirt path. Situated at an altitude of over 2,000 meters, this road from Kila to Gulabgarh is essentially a gap carved directly into the mountain, with an overhanging rock face right next to the roof of your vehicle. The most heart-stopping feature is that the road is just wide enough for one lane, with no guardrails whatsoever, while right at the edge of the wheels is the raging Chenab River, hundreds of meters below. This was originally an old ore transport road, where local drivers had to bet their lives every time they faced an oncoming vehicle. Rock slides and landslides happen frequently, making the journey through Cliffhanger a real battle with death. Only those with nerves of steel and superb driving skills have the courage to challenge this dusty and dangerous road. Peak Walk by Tissot, Switzerland. At an altitude of 3,000 meters in the Alps, the thin air and snowy winds will make every step on the suspension bridge at Glacier 3000 Switzerland feel heavier than ever. At 107 meters long and only 80 centimeters wide, this is the world's first structure to directly connect two mountain peaks. The harshest challenge here is the low air pressure combined with extremely strong winds that cause the steel bridge to shake continuously in mid-air. Beneath your feet is a bottomless abyss and jagged, permanent ice fields, where even a slight slip could lead to serious consequences. Inaugurated in 2014, Peak Walk is an engineering marvel, as workers had to build it in blizzard conditions and sub-zero temperatures. Even with a modern, heavy-duty cable system, the feeling of standing suspended between the clouds and looking down into the abyss from a dizzying height is enough to break anyone. Keeping your balance while the whole world beneath you is constantly shaking is the most real test of the limits of human courage against the intimidating grandeur of the Alps. Capilano Suspension Bridge, Canada. Located in Vancouver, Canada, the Capilano Suspension Bridge stretches across the river of the same name at a height of 70 meters amidst a dense pine forest. The real concern here is the significant sag of the bridge deck and the constant feeling of losing your balance as you try to move forward in mid-air. The railings are just steel-cabled ropes, creating a fragile feeling when you look down at the sharp rocks in the deep valley below. Created in 1889 by a Scottish engineer, the bridge was originally made of hemp rope and cedar planks, before being reinforced with steel for tourism. Despite its modernization, accidents caused by tourists fooling around are still a real warning about its danger. The combination of the wind whistling through the mountain pass and the feeling of being suspended in the middle of a vast forest will be an extremely tough psychological test for anyone who wants to face their fear of heights in the heart of the North American wilderness. Chesapeake Bay Bridge, United States. Don't be careless when you're behind the wheel on this nearly 7-kilometer-long bridge spanning the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, as it's known as one of the greatest fears for drivers worldwide. At over 56 meters above the water, and with a winding design that has no emergency lanes, this bridge often faces sudden sea storms and dense fog. The most unsafe feature is the very low guardrails, creating the feeling that your car could be blown into the sea by the wind at any moment. Many people have fallen into a state of extreme panic, seeing the vast water surrounding them on all sides with no way out. Inaugurated in 1952, this bridge has witnessed many accidents due to cars losing control in strong winds and limited visibility. A local transport service was even created just to help terrified drivers get across the bridge safely. Stay completely focused and keep a firm grip on the wheel if you don't want to become the next victim of the nightmare named Chesapeake. Royal Gorge Bridge, United States. right in the heart of a steep canyon in Colorado. The Royal Gorge Suspension Bridge appears like a teetering steel ribbon, holding the record for the highest in the USA. The entire bridge deck is lined with over 1,200 thick wooden planks, and whenever there's a strong wind or a vehicle passes, you can clearly feel the vibrations and the creaking sounds coming from the massive steel structure. What makes everyone's heart stop is the combination of the incredible height and the swirling winds in the canyon, which can make pedestrians lose their balance in an instant. The bridge was completed in just 6 months in 1929, initially to attract tourists, but it quickly became a risky adventure challenge. Fierce wildfires in the past threatened to burn down the entire wooden deck, but the bridge still stands as a challenge to courage. Crossing this precarious steel strip is not just a normal journey, but a way for you to directly confront your own limits right in the middle of the majestic Colorado wilderness. Kokoda Track, Papua New Guinea. Trekking through the harsh, tropical rainforests of Papua New Guinea, the 96-kilometer Kokoda Track is not just a tourist trip, but a gamble with your health and your life. This trail includes steep, muddy, slippery slopes, swift-flowing rivers, and an extremely hot and humid climate that quickly depletes the body's energy. The dangers lurking at every step are tropical diseases, sudden landslides, and complete isolation from medical rescue services. This was once a bloody battlefield between Australian and Japanese forces during World War II, where thousands died from starvation, exhaustion, and stray bullets. Every step on the muddy Kokoda Trail is a reminder of the brutality of history and the harshness of Mother Nature. If you truly want to test the ultimate limits of your endurance, prepare a will of steel to face this green hell full of risks. Frozen Lake Highway, Canada. Connecting the towns of Inuvik and Tuktoyaktuk in Canada's Northwest Territories, this ice road on a frozen lake only appears in winter when temperatures drop below -40 degrees Celsius. The unpredictable danger lurking right under your wheels are the cracks hidden beneath the thick snow and whiteout blizzards that can make visibility disappear completely in an instant. With just a small change in temperature, your tens of tons truck could sink and become permanently trapped in a desolate, icy wasteland with no one around. This road was once the only way to transport essential goods to Arctic residents before the permanent all-season road was completed in 2017. Stories of drivers disappearing in blizzards are still a real and haunting reminder of the harshness of this risky Arctic region. Are you calm enough to hold the steering wheel steady when you hear the cracking sound of ice breaking right under your tires? Hangzhou Bay Bridge, China. Crossing the sea on a bridge that's 36 kilometers long is an experience not meant for those who fear wide open spaces and rough waves. The Hangzhou Bay Bridge in China connects Jiaxing and Ningbo, following an extremely complex S-shape to cope with some of the world's strongest ocean currents. The biggest challenge that everyone must be wary of are the frequent super typhoons that hit, causing gigantic waves. Driving continuously between the vast sea and sky can easily cause hallucinations and extreme fatigue for drivers, leading to the risk of chain reaction collisions on the highway lanes. Completed in 2008, this structure is a marvel, but also a major challenge for maritime traffic safety. A service center was built right in the middle of the bridge to help travelers rest, but the feeling of standing in the middle of the windy open sea still gives many people the shivers. Never let your guard down when traveling on this giant steel ribbon if you don't want to come face to face with the devastating power of the ocean. Aiguille du Midi Bridge, France. If you want to reach the pinnacle of fear, step onto the short bridge at the summit of Aiguille du Midi in the Chamonix region of France, at an altitude of 3,842 meters. Although it's only a few meters long, connecting two giant rock formations in the Alps, its precarious position in mid-air will make you feel like you're floating among the clouds. The extreme harshness at this near cloud level lies in the severe lack of oxygen, which can cause dizziness and loss of balance instantly, while biting cold winds can blow anything down into the Mont Blanc abyss below. The bridge and its cable car system were built in 1955 under extremely difficult conditions, where every piece of steel had to be transported up by human power amidst permanent ice and snow. In fact, many tourists have suffered from altitude sickness and required medical assistance right on the bridge. Take a deep breath and stay calm if you want to stand firm on this windy stairway to heaven. Karnali Highway, Nepal. Have you ever imagined yourself driving on a road where a landslide could happen at any second? In western Nepal, the 250-kilometer-long Karnali Highway is a terrifying nightmare for any driver, with its jagged, rocky surface and blinding dust. The direct threat here are the vertical cliffs, with no guardrails, where the road is so narrow that just one small mistake, while avoiding an oncoming vehicle, will send the entire heavy steel mass plunging into the abyss. History records that more than 50 people die here every year, making it one of the deadliest roads on the planet. The journey through Karnali is not just about traveling, it's a breathtaking chase with sharp, jagged cliffs. This is a place where the line between life and death is guaranteed only by the absolute focus of the person behind the wheel on every meter of the red dirt road. Bhairav Fort, India. Prepare to face stone steps so narrow that you have to cling to the mountainside just to move forward. Located in Maharashtra, India, the Bhairav Fort is famous for the path leading to its summit, which consists of hundreds of stone steps with a gradient of 70 to 80 degrees. The biggest challenge here are the strong wind gusts at a dizzying height, while the old steps have been worn down over time, becoming slippery and completely lacking any protective railings. This place was once an important watchtower for the Maratha Empire to monitor trade routes through the canyon, where soldiers had to climb in extremely dangerous conditions. Today, the cracks in the rock are still a reminder of the difficulty of this ancient military structure. This is definitely a grueling test of physical and mental strength for those who want to conquer this risky stairway to the sky. The Gates of Hell, Turkmenistan. A giant, endlessly burning fire pit in the middle of a vast desert is an image that will astound you about an accident caused by humans. Located in the Karakum Desert, Turkmenistan, the Darvaza Gas Crater has a diameter of 70 meters and a depth of about 30 meters, with flames that have been burning brightly for over 50 years. The main danger here is the extremely high temperature radiating from the pit and the toxic methane gas that silently rises, which can cause dizziness to anyone standing too close to the edge. This disaster began in 1971 due to a ground collapse during a Soviet oil drilling operation. Engineers decided to light it on fire, hoping the gas would burn off in a few days. But the result is a fire that still burns to this day. The mystery and ferocity of this fire pit have turned a desolate desert region into a fascinating destination. Get ready for an overnight journey to witness this eternal flame in the heart of the desert. Carrick-a-Rede Rope Bridge, Northern Ireland. Stepping onto the swaying wooden planks tens of meters above the sea will make you truly feel how fragile humans are against the ocean. Located in County Antrim, Northern Ireland, this bridge is 20 meters long and 30 meters high, suspended above sharp rocks below. The most heart-stopping thing is how unsteady the bridge is whenever the sea wind blows, creating strong sways that make even the bravest people cling tightly to the ropes. The bridge has a history of over 350 years. Originally, it was woven by local fishermen from crude hemp rope to get to the island to catch salmon during their migration season. Although it's now securely reinforced with a modern steel cable system, the feeling of your body swaying with every step in mid-air is still enough to make the most daring people tremble in fear. Just one look down at the rushing water through the open wooden slats is enough to make your legs shake before you even set foot on the safe island on the other side. Fairy Meadows Road, Pakistan. The line between a heavenly landscape on one side and a bottomless abyss on the other has never been so thin as it is on this road. Located in the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan, the 16-kilometer road leading to the base of Nanga Parbat mountain is actually a rough, rocky dirt path carved directly into the cliffside. The lurking risk here lies in its steep gradient and extremely narrow surface, with no guardrails, where your vehicle has to navigate sharp turns right on the edge of the abyss. This road was built entirely by local people hundreds of years ago to access the lush green meadows above. Accidents involving vehicles plunging into the abyss due to landslides or loss of control have turned the journey to Fairy Meadows into a life-or-death gamble with nature. Only those with nerves of steel and absolute trust in their driving skills dare to challenge this dusty and dangerous road. Kemaliye Stone Road, Turkey. Located in Erzincan province, Turkey, the Kemaliye Stone Road will show you what the most brutal road on the planet is from the very first glance. This 9-kilometer route snakes through the Karnali Canyon with narrow mountain tunnels that are completely devoid of artificial light. The direct threat here is the jagged, rocky road surface and the unguarded cliff edge, where a 1-meter mistake is enough to send the entire vehicle down into the deep Euphrates River below. What's amazing is that this road was chiseled out over a period of 132 years by the local people themselves across many generations. However, the risk of rockfalls is always present due to the unstable geology, making every meter of the road a true survival challenge in the heart of the Stone Mountains. This place is definitely not for inexperienced drivers or the faint of heart. Do you have the guts to drive through these pitch-black rock tunnels and face the breathtaking abyss? Lake Hillier, Australia. Located on Middle Island in the Recherche archipelago of Western Australia, Lake Hillier is about 600 meters long, famous for its natural pink water that doesn't change color even when scooped out. The real difficulty here is its complete isolation, where you can only view it from a helicopter or a large boat in rough seas because the extremely high salt concentration and surrounding dense forest terrain make it very difficult to access on foot. The lake was first discovered in 1802 by Captain Matthew Flinders, who took water samples to study its strange phenomenon. Scientists believe the color is created by extremophile bacteria and algae in the harsh environment. If you want to witness this rare pink gem of nature with your own eyes, prepare for a daring flight across Australia's wild coast. Commonwealth Avenue, Philippines. Completely different from remote mountain passes, this avenue presents a modern kind of danger right in the heart of a bustling city. Located in Quezon City, Philippines, Commonwealth Avenue is up to 18 lanes wide, but is always in a state of chaotic and extremely unsafe traffic. The pressure for survival here comes from the excessive speed of buses and jeepneys, combined with pedestrians crossing the road despite barriers, leading to thousands of accidents every year. It was built with the hope of becoming the backbone of the city's urban planning, but the lack of operational control has turned it into a deadly avenue for the local population. Every day, the line between a safe commute and a chain reaction collision is separated by just a single moment of a driver's inattention. This is definitely a test of patience and intense focus for anyone who wants to experience the risky rhythm of life in the capital, Manila. Canning Stock Route, Australia. Absolute isolation amidst thousands of kilometers of dust and scorching heat will be the biggest obstacle you face on this route. Running through the outback of Western Australia, the Canning Stock Route is over 1,850 kilometers long and is the longest stock route in the world. The deadly challenge here is the complete lack of gas stations, natural water sources, and rescue services, where temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius in the summer. The route was surveyed by Alfred Canning in 1906 with the purpose of bringing cattle to market. However, this journey claimed the lives of many due to exhaustion and conflicts with Aboriginal tribes. The old wells along the track are now just relics of a difficult pioneering era. If you really want to test your survival limits and professional off-road driving skills, prepare thoroughly before setting foot in this forgotten land. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. Thousands of identical rolling hills covering a vast area. It might sound like something out of a movie, but a place like this actually exists. Located on the island of Bohol, Philippines, the Chocolate Hills complex consists of at least 1,260 cone-shaped limestone hills that turn dark brown during the dry season. The harshness lies in the sharp, rocky terrain and steep slopes between the hills, where legends of giant battles are often told to explain this strange formation. Although it's a natural wonder, exploring deep into this area still holds risks from wild animals and unpredictable land subsidence. Geologists believe this is the result of coral reef erosion after millions of years of tectonic plate shifts. Try climbing to the highest viewpoints to see the grand scale of this giant chessboard with your own eyes and feel the power of nature. Simpson Desert, Australia. The vibrant red sand and the endless parallel dunes will be the toughest test for your four-wheel drive vehicle and your persistence. Located in central Australia, the Simpson Desert is famous for its more than 1,100 red sand dunes that stretch for hundreds of kilometers, including the famous Big Red, which is up to 40 meters high. The trap that awaits travelers is the phenomenon of quicksand and frequent dust storms that can erase all tracks, turning this land into a maze with no exit if you lack navigation equipment. This route was a major challenge for explorer Charles Sturt in 1845 when he tried to find an inland sea in the heart of the arid Australian continent. The abandoned car wrecks along the tracks, a clear proof of the harshness of the weather conditions here. If you crave the feeling of conquering the brilliant red sand dunes and enjoying the most spectacular starry sky on the planet, get ready for this risky adventure. The roads and bridges you've just traveled are not only geological or engineering wonders, but also reminders of how small humans are in the face of the great power of nature. Are you brave enough to add your name to the list of those who dared to conquer one of these deadly places? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next heart-stopping journeys. See you next time.